Well, North Korea is condemning new U.S. sanctions that went into effect today. They target 6 North Korean ships and 2 Chinese companies, as well as some North Korean officials. They are, of course, aimed at trying to end the regime's nuclear weapons development program. This all comes amid reports that claim dictator Kim Jong-un, well, he apparently is running out of money, they say, to run his regime after spending so much of his supposed slush fund. The bounty of billions of dollars, reports say, that come through a secret North Korean government agency. That agency is called Office 39. For more on that, Harry Kazakianis joins us. He's the Director of Defense Studies at the Center for the National Interest and Executive Editor at the National Interest. Harry, good to see you. Office 39. I mean, it sounds like a James Bond movie or something. What is it? What does it do? And has that been the lifeline for Kim Jong-un's regime?
Well, it has, Eric. Office 39 was actually started in the 1970s by Kim Jong-un's grandfather. And essentially, its goal was to bring in hard currency into the regime. It got more importance in the 2000s when the UN Security Council really started hammering the regime with very, very tough sanctions. And essentially, what Office 39 was doing was really trying to sell anything and ship anything it can out of the country to make money. There would be a lot of legal things that they would sell, common things like ginseng, textiles, gold, but also a lot of illegal things, drugs, methamphetamines, heroin that they would ship to Australia. In the last couple of years, they've actually added, Eric, a cyber component to this. They've tried to hack into Bangladeshi banks. They've tried to hack into the New York Reserve. So this is a very sophisticated operation to fund the regime and fund its nuclear program.
Have we, in your view, been able to target Office 39? Can we take it apart? Or how can that be shut down?
Not entirely, Eric. The problem with this is that we know from North Korean defectors that have leaked information to the Australian Broadcast Company and others, that a lot of these offices of Office 39 are in China, other parts of the globe, so they're hard to shut down. What it ends up being, Eric, is essentially a giant game of whack-a-mole, especially if you're using cyber agents to attack banks and now attack Bitcoin exchanges and other things. It's very, very hard to do. The North Koreans are very, very good at masking their footprints. I think we put a dent in it, but it's going to be a game of years and maybe decades to try and root it out.
Well, according to the UN Security Council resolutions that China has backed, China's supposed to shut down those companies.
Yeah, and the problem is, Eric, they're never going to completely shut them down. To be honest, I've spoken to many Chinese officials over the years, and they're terrified of the North Koreans, maybe even more than us or the South Koreans, because they're afraid that if they push the North Koreans too hard and that regime were ever to collapse or have, massive migrations of people going into China, they're afraid of what could happen. A North Korean civil war or Kim Jong-un being deposed. So we're never going to get the cooperation from the Chinese we want.
So how does Beijing handle them? I mean, they do kid gloves. I mean, they sent the envoy, and Kim Jong-un even refused to meet with him. They at first refused to accept the envoy from Beijing. So, we focus so much on what we have to do. What do the Chinese actually have to do to try and rein him in, if that's at all possible?
Eric, they need to enforce the sanctions. I mean, this is absolutely ridiculous. We've had 10 different United Nations Security Council resolutions on North Korea, and they've had an impact. We know they have. But the Chinese need to step up their efforts. If they are unwilling to do this, especially after the Olympics, we're going to go through this sort of fake détente with North Korea. But the game is going to be up starting in April. And we are going to really need to speak to the Chinese and say, look, if you're not willing to enforce the sanctions, we have lots of ways to put pressure on you to get you to enforce the sanctions. Whether that's helping our friends in Taiwan, putting pressure on them in the South China Sea, which they're basically trying to conquer, or trade sanctions. The Chinese need to step up. If they want to be like a so-called world leader and show they're part of the international arena, they need to step to the plate. If they don't, it's going to be trouble for them.
Well, I mean, they haven't, sufficiently, according to critics, at all.
No, they haven't, to be honest with you. And it's a problem, and it's really going to hurt the U.S.-China relationship, which it's worth over $500 billion plus in bilateral trade. So Beijing has every incentive to help on this.
But then some would say, well, that could spark a trade war.
You know what, Eric? It is very possible it could spark a trade war. But you know what? I'd argue with you that we're already in a trade war with the Chinese. They've already stolen so much intellectual property. They've hacked into our defense contractors and stolen plans for like the F-22, the F-35, our best defensive equipment. So in actuality, we probably already in one, to be honest.
Talking about trade, I want to show you a picture. We got a picture of Kim Jong-un in his Mercedes. We talk about You know, you see the buildings, you see there it is. It looks like, I think it's a Maybach, or it's a big, not fancy Mercedes. Please, Harry, tell me, how does he buy that? I mean, honestly, someone's got to sell it to him, the auto dealer in Germany or something, and someone's got to sign off on that and say, hey, it's okay for him to buy his Mercedes. If we take his Mercedes away, you know, I tell you right now, he'll come to the table. I mean, if you start plucking away some of the stuff from Office 39, that probably came through Office 39. There it is.
It probably did. And you know what? It's actually even go further than that, Eric. If you take away the luxury goods that Kim's gives to all the cadre around him, the thousands of people at the highest echelons of the North Korean government that run that regime, that have to be loyal to Kim to make that country function. There's pictures, for example, where he gives out Louis Vuitton bags and Chanel handbags and these things to members of the party as rewards for good work. If you start taking that stuff away, I guarantee you that regime is going to start to crack, and they're going to come to the table, because that's really all he can offer.
Yeah, his father used to, hand out cognac and use Office 39 to get some of the finest French cognac in the world.
Exactly.
I mean, you know, it's absolutely astounding. On one hand, at the United Nations Security Council, I can go report on that, and they're all talking about, you know, clamping down on them. On the other hand, you got the cognac and the Louis Vuitton bags, and you know, that stretch. It's not just a regular Mercedes; it's a stretch Mercedes. You know, I mean, they're all like turning a blind eye. It seems.
Yeah, it's sad, Eric. And I mean, at the same time, you've got 200,000 people in North Korea that are essentially in gulags, starving to death. You have something like 60% of the population that needs UN food rations to survive because they're not getting the calories they need. You have a whole generation of North Koreans that aren't even the average height or anything close to what their South Korean counterparts have. And their economy is less than 1% the size of South Korea, while Kim Jong-un is driving his Maybach.
Yeah, I interviewed a South Korean refugee who had to, her mother had to find some mice in the field to make mice soup in order for their family to survive. All they had was water, she said. She told us, for 10 days. Water for 10 days while Kim's driving around in her stretch Mercedes. That's all you need to know. Thank you.